Hello folks, these are four, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 4 pens that are great as beginner fountain pens. Now I say that to mean that they are not too finicky and they're going to seem pretty smooth, I think, to any user. And fountain pens could feel scratchy to some people. So these are ones that are not very scratchy. Scratchiness is not necessarily a bad thing. When you have a pen that's very, very fine, it will be scratchy. So, and you'll learn that and you'll learn to appreciate it, but these are relatively smooth. And they all have a little bit of give to it. Some will have more give than others. This one, as you can see, has that sort of give. It goes from, well, I'll try to make a thicker line here, but first I have to figure out what I'm going to draw. I will make this an animal. I'm going to make all of these animals, but they're going to sort of be vaguely animal-like. Now, because I don't know the anatomy of horses, I don't know if their legs go out like this or in like that. I remember if you look at early pictures, paintings of horses, you know, on the chase or on the racetrack, that was a bad line. You see the artists, the painters, trying to figure out how the horse's legs worked, and it wasn't until Muybridge and his camera figured out that a horse never has all 4 legs off the ground. But a painting by Degas, I think, shows all, you know, horses with all the legs off the ground, which doesn't exist. But anyway, neither does this horse. Oh, we'll make him a unicorn. What the heck? There we go. So, their legs may not go like this. Anyway, this pen is a Werever with a gold nib. So I'm just going to write that here. Werever 14 karat nib. And it's really nice and smooth. The pen itself is sort of uninteresting, but you're not going to buy this pen. If you wanted to buy this pen, you're not buying it for the way the pen looks. You're buying for the way the pen works. So there we go, a unicorn with this one. Okay, we'll set that down. Let's see what this one will do. This is a Waterman Taperite pen, and I'm dipping these just because I don't want to fill them, but I could fill them. And this pen is similar to this one, except the thin is maybe a little bit broader and the thick is a little bit broader. So it's like this one, but just on some steroids. And what sort of horse is it gonna make? This is a talented horse. It's one of these that will balance itself on a ball at a circus. And here's the cowboy. Eye, tail. So this pen is very smooth going in any direction, and it's really a very nice pen from the you can turn it upside down and you get a really nice thin line. Some pens you can turn upside down and, well, all pens you can turn upside down, but some pens will write pretty well upside down. Other ones are maybe less good at that, but this one's pretty good. Teeth, reins. Oh, the reins are being held by the teeth of the cowboy here because his hands are, he's doing that with his hands. So we've got 4 little hooves. This paper I'm using is very sort of semi-glossy, so the ink sort of sits on it here. See, it's sparkling. Now, this pen is really quite lovely, and it has a very lovely cap, but, you know, to save maybe $5 or $10 on the price of this, I can put a slightly dinged up cap. It's not going to change the way the pen works. It'll just make the pen cheaper. It's like my car would be cheaper because of the dents it has than if it had no dents. So it doesn't make the car not work. Well, my car doesn't work. It's not because of the dents. It's because of my inability to pay to have a new radiator put in. We'll add some shadows here. Oops. Okay, so that's this one. This is, I'm sorry, let me write this out. This is a Waterman. God, this is a nice pen. Waterman Taper-Rite. Right, okay, Taper-Rite with an R. Stupid Waterman Taper. I'll just say Taper. Waterman Taper. Okay, let's see what else we have. This is an Eberhard Faber pen, and it is sort of the love child of these two. It sort of has the thinness of that one with the thickness of that one. So this, right now, this one has, quote, the most range of all of them. This one, this horse is doing the can. So it's on one leg. All the other legs are up in the air. And the tail is between its legs. Its leg. And I'll make it a boy horse. Okay. Oh, sorry. Cap came off here. And let's see. Eyeball, teeth, nostrils, tail. Well, the tail is a forked tail. It's going in 2 different directions here. And where's our cowboy? Where's our rider? His head is down here. And he's wearing a Where's Waldo shirt. Just because he can. Okay, so ear, add another ear. So here's a horse doing at the Folies Bergère, doing a can. Okay, so this is, what was this, a Faber? I'm not seeing me draw here, Faber. With a 14 karat gold nib. Not all Fabers had 14 karat gold nibs. In fact, every company probably had pens that they sold that didn't have gold nibs. But Fabers mainly are steel nibbed pens, but they made a really nice gold nib. Lastly, we have a Wahl Eversharp. Now this is probably the, quote, better of, well, no, the Waterman's a good company. The Eversharp was a quality company like Waterman, first tier rather than second tier like these two. And this one has a really nice broad, it's sort of similar to this one, and it's very smooth, How do legs work on horses? I never know how their anatomy works. I mean, it's not just whether they have all four legs on the ground or not, or up in the air or not when they're... See here, I have no idea. I guess those are the back legs. So I'll make this the head. Eye. So this is very broad. I mean, of all of them, this is the one that's the loudest to start with. And here's the cowboy. He's sort of a bucking bronco. Here's the mane. His hat's fallen off here. So make it another boy horse. Oh, tail. No, that'll be the tail. Make it look like a leaf. Here we go. So this one, I'm going to try to make the finest lines with it without turning it over, the finest lines. See, this is pretty broad, but it's very, very smooth, and it's a very rubbery nib. So all of these pens, these 4 pens, would be great for, if you've never used a fountain pen before, all of these would be good for that purpose, because they're all really smooth. And they're pretty nice. Now, what Eversharp pens of this era, they had sort of weird plastics that sometimes would you can see it's slightly banana shaped here, slightly bowed down, and that's just something that they, especially with the pens of this variety, this model, the Symphony sort of pen, they had that problem, which they never seemed to. I mean, they might have looked great when they were new, but in 50 years they sort of turned banana shaped. So there we go. All sorts of nice pens. So I will, if you're interested, send me an email and I can let you know what they cost. And again, in this particular one and in this one, I should be, this one? Was that the one I forget now which ones that wasn't the one I drew with. Kitty, you're here. You have to move out of the way. This is the one I drew with, sorry. That one I did not draw with, these 4 pens. My cat is joining me now, because he can't be missing out on the fun. So here we have the Werever, which is this pen. We have the Waterman Taper-Rite, which is this one. We have the Faber-Castell, Eberhard Faber, which is this one. And finally we have the Eversharp Symphony-like pen, which is that one. So they're all really good for beginners, and you can see that they are all very different from each other. So, and they're all, you don't have to be a beginner to like these pens. These pens are really, really good. Thank you.